Hello and welcome to metallics.co.nz. My name is Alex Selford and today we're going to be looking at how to model a golden ring. So if I just pop into my computer, so this is the image we're going to be making today, which is just a nice engraved golden ring. So you can obviously do it in a lot of different styles, following this tutorial slightly differently. But basically what we're going to be looking at is how to get that gold texture, how to get that sort of reflective texture which is very elongated, as you can see, and how to actually engrave text without having to model it. So I could easily change that text or whatever and it would be sweet. So as you can see, I have 1540 vertices after a 3 times subdivision or something. Okay, so if I go into my 3D view, you can see this is all we have here. This is the only thing. We have a ring. We have it's got some text on it, a couple of lamps, and that's it. And it's obviously just a very basic ring. So to try and keep this nice and sweet, open up a new file. Just to go into orthographic view, delete the default cube, and go Shift A, add in a circle. Now I'm going to cut this down to 16 vertices, see if I can keep this short enough that I can get it done before my girlfriend's out of the shower. Oh, don't have to go very fast then at all. don't let her see that. Alright, so I just press E to extrude that up, just so it's a bit thicker. Now A, and press E, Shift Z. Oh wait, no, S, Shift Z. And we want to bring this in so it's a nice nice ring shape. There you go, that's about the right shape of a ring. I might actually scale that in a little bit more, the whole thing. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in a loop in the I have a very buggy version of Blender apparently. There you go, add an edge loop around the middle, add an edge loop around the outside. Select those two using Control Shift Alt right click, and now we're going to scale those out so that we have a nice little lump around it. So now when we go into modifiers and add in a subdivision surface, and I'm going to hit Control N to recalculate the normals to shade them smooth. So we have a nice ring shape there. Now I can see that this is probably a little too thick, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of those inner loops like that, go into top view, go about to sneeze, go S Shift Z to scale along everything but the Z axis, and to scale out so it's just a little bit thinner, and select everything, scale Shift Z and just bring it back in so it's a bit smaller. And maybe shrink it down a little there. Now if you want to know how I shrunk it towards the center rather than to the center of like how you see here, it scales down so it's above the surface. Press the dot on the keyboard, the full stop or period, and then when you scale, it'll scale down towards that 3D cursor. Okay, so that is about it for the modeling. We now have a nice golden ring. What we're going to do now is going to go Shift A, add a mesh, scale that right up. So we have that about there, and we're going to add in a new material for this floor, and this is still set to Octane, Blender Render. There we go. Now I'm going to set this right up so it's a nice white image, nice white floor. We're going to set the hardness down to about 25. It's nice soft. Going to set mirror reflectivity is going to be about 0.4. The depth up to 4. Oh, come back. Going to set the Fresnel to a 1.96. Going to set the gloss to a 0.85. The sample or the samples to a 128. And now that's the floor plane material done. So if you didn't catch with those settings, just download the resource file. I'm going to include this resource file and the one that I did in the to make the example. You can just download them from metallics.co.nz. Now for the ring, I'm going to add in a new material. This one here, I'm going to call this gold. And I should name this one as well. This is going to be floor. Alright, so for this one here, I'm going to set in a down about here-ish. So we want that to be quite strong. So about one, probably might increase this a little, and yeah, about there I should be sweet. Now for the specular settings, I'm going to set this to be a nice goldy colour. So we want this to be about there, should be fine. Actually, I might move it along that way a little. You can see I do use these a lot just to move these out, just because it makes it that a little bit easier to move them. So right about there will be sweet. So that's our specular colour. I'm going to set that right up to about 0.8. Going to set the hardness to a 100. That just hits a little bit harder, but not overly. Emit to a 0.15 because we want to kind of glow, so it just looks like it's reflecting a little bit more than it actually is. I'm going to set the translucency up to about 0.6. So translucency is basically the diffuse shading on the back side. Oh yeah, it even has it in the little pop-up box there. It's yeah, kind of hard to explain, but it gives that the extra bit of pop. Now another thing we're going to do is we're going to check tangent shading. So you can see that it just gives like a big stripe down it. So that gives us that kind of stretches out our reflections. And I go, that one doesn't reflect our reflection. It just kind of creates a tangent for it. Now we're going to check the mirror. We're going to bring the mirror reflectivity up to a 0.8. We're going to put the Fresnel to a 1.32. The gloss is going to be a 0.75. Samples 128. The anisotropic is going to be 1. Now that's what stretches the reflections straight down the entire thing. So if you look at the reflections in this, you can see they're very stretched. So that's kind of what gold does, as far as I know. I don't know, I like the effect anyways. And we're also going to turn on subsurface scattering, and we're going to set the IOR to a 1.34. And we're also going to bring this down so it's just a very light yellowy colour. And that is all of the material done for gold. We're just going to jump over into the textures. Going to add in a new texture. This one here is going to be a image or movie. Going to open up a new one. Now this one here is actually going to be a night scene. So if, I'll actually just show you this one. This is one that I actually got a while ago off blenderguru.com, I believe, had this one. So you can download it there. I won't include this in the resource file, so I'm not quite sure of the licensing for it. But yes, go to blenderguru.com, look up the reflections tutorial, I believe it was. Back quite a while ago now. Alright, so that is that one there. I'll include a link to that too. I'll have a look, see if I can find it. Alright, so that's the image there. I'm going to change the that off color. We're going to check mirror and ray mirror. Mirror is going to be a 0.25. Ray mirror is going to be a 0.3. And blend mix should be fine. Yep, that's all sweet. So that's that material there. So that means it will be reflecting that material. I won't render it out as I go for this one because it does take a while to render. Especially when you're using anisotropic filtering. If you find it does take an extremely long time, I suggest turn that off, especially for animations. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, that is tangent shading and anisotropic. Turn off those two and it will increase your rendering times significantly. And that's pink. Oh, yes, I haven't set up this one yet. Alright, so this one here, this one is going to be a... What was I doing for the second one? Image movie, yes. You need to tab into edit mode. We need to alt right click on these two, top two edge loops. Oh, sorry, the top edge loop and bottom edge loop, and also press 0 to go into your camera, so you can see where you're facing, and select one of the ones on the side as well. One of those edge loops. So basically, what we're going to do is going to come over into the side menu. go mark seam, and now if we unwrap it and we split this window, we can jump into the UV image editor, and you can see we have it nicely splayed out there. So I'm just going to hit Control E and Control P just to average them out and then pack them in. So I'm also going to drag this one up so they'll split out a bit, and also I'm going to straighten these out a little, so just using SY0 just to scale them out. And for these edge ones, SX0, this one over here, SX0, and the one in the middle, SY0, just so that it doesn't distort everything. So you can see we've got to do it on this one here as well. Don't worry too much about this, but it's just sort of something that does make a little difference, making sure that this does what it's supposed to be doing, basically. And just scale this one up, put it there. Alright, and that should be right. So what we're going to do now is going to go UV, export UV layout, going to export it into our folder, and I'm going to go into ring UV. Now if you're wondering what this is doing, this is actually going to be where we put our text, if I didn't say that already. So I'm going to jump into Photoshop, and you see I've got some text here. This is actually the text of the Lord of the Rings, of Aiden Nera is where I got this image from, of DeviantArt. Great site, that one. So I'll include a link to this one as well. And make sure you select this one here, and we're going to go Control N. No, what am I doing? Oh, open. We're going to open up that ring UV and paste it in there, and select the other one. Now at this stage you don't have to be very precise, you can do whatever you like really. Select those two, and just going to scale them down just so that they're nice and small. That didn't work, I stretched them out. And yeah, scale them right down. Oops. There we go. Probably scale them down a little bit more. Right to about there should be sweet, and possibly just drag them down a little. There we go. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to drag them up into place. And this one here. And I'll drag this one here over again. And this one needs to go down a little. There we go. Now I'm just going to go Control E to merge those, and just going to bump them up a little so that they're more in the center. And that's looking pretty sweet like that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab the magic wand, going to delete all of the white bits, basically, because magic wand does a very good job of getting rid of a lot of that edge white. So you don't need to worry too much about this, but that is fine like this, because we will be filling it in with white afterwards. I just don't want it to be it'll be fine like this for sure. It does affect the colour range a little. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, as you probably guessed already, go select colour range with the white, placing this right up to 200, and press delete, Control D, and you can see now we have that text looking alright. Actually, I might even, no, that's right like that. So what we're going to do now is going to create a new layer, and we're going to use a black and fill it in. This one, and I'm going to right click here, go create clipping mask. So now that is a completely solid with no transparency. It's similar to the fill effect for After Effects. If you use After Effects, merge those two, turn this one back on, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drag this one down so we have two copies, one up there, one up there. And now what we can do is create a new layer, and I'm going to fill that with white just so we have a perfectly white background. And with this one here I'm going to create a new gradient. I'm going to set this to a nice goldeny colour. Down a bit more, yeah, about there-ish. Now it doesn't have to be precise for this. It's going to be red, and we're going to switch those around. And great clipping mask. There you go. So you can see what I've done is I'm just creating a nice red that fades into an orange, so it just adds in those kind of virtual shadows. Now where is my other layer gone? Oh, my bad. I just realised what I did. I accidentally put the fill on the wrong layer. I'm going to create a new layer, and this one here is going to be for this one. Going to create a clipping mask. And yes, I know I do make a lot of mistakes in tutorials, but that is no worries. Yeah, so that's fine like that. Now for this one here, I'm going to do the same thing again. Create clipping mask. And we're going to create a clipping mask just in here. Alright, so that's looking pretty sweet like that. So now what we need to do is we need to go File, Save As, save this as a nice PNG file, and we can just, what are we going to do? Let's go bring underscore text. That should be sweet. And jump back into Blender. Why do I have two open? Who knows. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go Image, Open Image, and navigate to that ring text. Open that up. And now for here we're going to press N to bring up this menu. Go under Display, go Textured Solid. And you can see that is where the text, that's where the text is going to be. So as you can see, it looks fine. And when you're using really fine text like this, it will distort slightly. You won't be able to see it all, but that doesn't matter because it's not really going to be seen anyways. So unchecking Textured Solid, what we need to do now is we need to go over into our texture. The image is going to be ring text. The mapping is going to be UV, and it is going to influence the color by 1. It's going to affect the normal by 0.1, and it's going to be a multiplier because we want that white not to affect any color at all. And but method is going to be best quality and object space, and make sure you check pre-multiply on that one, and of course in this one here check pre-multiply as well. It should automatically be checked that that one there, because it just helps, really. It really helps. Alright, so we're going to add in one more. This one here is going to be a what was this one going to be? This one's going to be a blend. And for this one here, I'm going to turn on the ramp. I'm going to make this one here a deep red, and I'm going to increase the alpha all the way up and drag it across to the side. So we have this sort of effect here. So what I can do now is I can change this to a soft light, change the color to a 0.7, and we get this effect up here. In a moment, when it renders, it does take a little while to render this preview, so you can imagine how long it's going to be to render out the actual image. And I'm not sure if you can see it, but there is actually a little glow around the side. This is a cheap way of doing this without using the node editor. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to set up the lighting and the camera. Set up the camera first. I'm going to do this one, GZZ, this is zoom in, GZ, just to drag it down and position it about there using the rule of thirds or whatever it is. It's not quite the rule of thirds there, but oh well. Alright, going to change this lamp to a sun lamp. And one moment, I just need to check on something. And we're back. Sorry about that. My girlfriend got out of the shower, so I didn't actually beat her. So where was I? I was setting up the lighting. So I'm going to set this sun lamp. I can minimize this join area that way. I'm going to set the sun lamp up to be a 0.8. Going to give this a very slight bluey tinge, so about there. And that's probably a bit too much. There. And drag this down, rotate a comma to rotate it back around there. Then point that at the right at the ring. So what we're going to do now is we're going to Shift D, duplicate that over here, rotate it around to point, actually bring it up a bit. Bring it down over there. This one's going to be a 0.15. This one here is going to be a spot lamp. And we're going to go no shadow and increase the distance a bit. The size is going to be up a bit. And this one's going to be a slight yellow. So I'm probably bring this down, rotate it around. And you see that will just give us that extra backlighting as such. Okay, so with this one, with the original lamp, I'm actually going to check ray shadow. This one here is going to be samples is going to be 12, so that will take a while to render, but that's okay. Because soft size is going to be 100. How high does that go? Oh, it only goes to 100. So that is going to be very soft shadows. Now remember, when you increase the soft size, you do need to increase the sampling quite a bit. So yeah, 12 samples is a good number. This goes up to, I think, 120 or something. No, 30. Never mind. 12. I like 12. 12 is good. Okay, so that's the basic scene set up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to... Yeah, that's sweet. That's sweet. What am I missing? I'm missing something. I'm missing the world texture. What I'm going to do is, with the world selected, I'm going to go straight over into materials. Going to go new material. It's going to be image or movie. I'm going to select that night scene, and I'm going to go uncheck blend, check horizon, or horizon, whatever you call it, and the mapping is going to be ang map. So for angular map, and let's check over to world. You can see that's what it looks like. Don't worry, it's just for reflections and whatever. So that just sort of maps the scene around the camera. Okay, so that is about it for this one. If I go over to the scene, the scene settings. Nope, which one do I do? I'm going to do world. I'm going to set the ambient occlusion on. This is going to be a 0.25. And that is it. So that is all I'm going to do for this one here. And I'm going to press F12 and render this one out. And this will take a while, so I'm actually just going to pause the recording and I'll get back to you in a moment. And we are done. Right, see, I've got my nice ring rendered here. This did take a long time, about 50 minutes. As if you remember, I am using a laptop at the moment. And you see, I did make it a little too soft, the reflection, so you might want to change that down if you on the circle here. And you see on the materials, on the gold material, why does that come up pink? Yeah, I don't think it matters. Anyways, on the material settings, you want to set up the mirror gloss probably to about 0.85, should be fine, or 0.8. And you might want to take that anisotropic down a little. That will just make it a little less fuzzy if you want it to be a bit more crisp. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move into the compositor. So if you change over to the node editor, jump over to the scene node, compositing nodes, click use nodes, backdrop, and where you want to go. Shift A, output is going to be a viewer, and this is our original one here. So what we're going to do is we're going to add in a color, a curves, RGB curves, and I'll just drag that up to there so we can see what we're doing. And I'm just going to drag this one down and up a bit, just give it a nice sharp contrast. So as you can see, that definitely brings out the, if I add in another viewer here, you can see between them what we get. You can see it just darkens it up a bit. I might actually drag this one down over here a little, this one up to about here. Just have a play to see what you like. The sharper you make that curve, the more contrast you'll get. So I'm quite happy with that there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go Shift A, I'm going to add in a color, and I'm going to add in a color balance, which is this one here. And join that one up so we can see what we're doing. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change this one to be a bit more golden-y, and move them down a bit so I can see, and make this a little bit darker. Now this is sort of like shadows, midtones, highlights is the easiest way to describe that. So just drag that to about there and see it just darkens up the shadows. We're going to go into the midtones. We're going to drag that up slightly towards blue, just a really tiny bit. I'm going to increase this one up a little. We're going to, this one over here, we're going to drag this to be a nice blue, and we're going to increase this one a little as well. Not that much, just a little bit. This one, okay, there. You can see that just gives it that nice blue glow, so it's not a pure white background for the highlights, and it also increases this one here, so it just makes it pop just that little bit more. So now I can link up the compositor. What do I do? This one, let's go to the compositor. So you can see that is that's all we're going to do for the compositing. Pretty straightforward. So you can see that's the ring there. If I come over here and go and split this one, split area, check this one over to the UV image editor, and you can see that was that's the result that we've got. Sorry. So that's about it. That's the entire tutorial done. So now you know how to get a nice gold texture, and give it nice reflection, so it reflects things that aren't actually in the scene using the reflection material or reflection texture, and how to engrave text into an object using the normals. So I'm not sure if I actually explained that while I was doing it, but normals are this one here, geometry normal of 0.1. That's what does the engraving as such. Okay, so that's it for this tutorial. So remember to download the resource files. Will be online at metallics.co.nz. And that's all for today. My name is Alex Telford, and stay tuned. Check out metallics.co.nz for some more tutorials. There'll be some more coming up soon, including I'll be making a series on modelling a Spitfire plane coming up.